I thought it was just an empty office hallway. I was late for a meeting and the main corridor was blocked. So I slipped through a door marked staff only, and it wasn't what I expected. The lights were yellow and buzzing. The floor had that cheap industrial carpet that smelled damp and old. The hallway seemed longer than it should be, stretching in every direction, turning corners that didn't exist in the building layout I knew. I checked my phone, no signal, the Wi-Fi was gone, and even the clock said 12:03, but it didn't move. I walked forward thinking someone was playing a prank, but no one was there. Only the hum of the fluorescent lights and the faint smell of mildew. I called out, but my voice didn't echo. It just disappeared into the walls. Every door I opened led to another identical hallway. Same yellow walls, same flickering lights, same buzzing sound. I tried to retrace my steps, but it was impossible. I couldn't find the way back. Panic rose, my heart pounding as I ran down the corridor, my shoes muffled by the carpet, and I saw shadows move at the edge of my vision. When I stopped, they were gone, but the sense of being watched stayed. I tried to remember which way I came in, but every turn looked the same. The hum got louder, almost like it was breathing, and I felt the carpet under my feet shift slightly, as if the floor itself was alive. I screamed for help, but no sound came out. My phone showed 12:03 still, and I realized I had no idea how long I had been walking. I sat against the wall trying to calm myself, and that's when I noticed a door I hadn't seen before. It was old, wooden, and the handle was scratched and worn. Something about it made me feel wrong, like it shouldn't exist. But curiosity got the better of me. I opened it, and instead of the office, I was in another room. Bigger, dimmer, with shadows pooling in the corners. There was furniture, but it looked abandoned, covered in dust, and a single chair faced the wall, rocking slowly on its own. The air was thick, and I realized I couldn't breathe properly, like the room was pressing down on me. I turned to leave, but the door I came through was gone, replaced by a blank wall. My heart raced, and I started running again, trying doors, hoping one would lead back to reality. Every door led to more hallways, longer than before, and I noticed the shadows were following me now, just at the edge of my vision, always keeping pace. I started hearing whispers, low and unintelligible at first, but gradually forming words, my name being called over and over. I ran faster, my mind spinning, but the more the corridors seemed to stretch, expanding endlessly. My phone buzzed with notifications I hadn't set, all of them saying the same thing. You shouldn't be here. My legs ached, my chest burned, but I couldn't stop. That's when I saw something standing at the end of the hallway. Pale, tall, and featureless. Just a shadow of a human form. It didn't move, but I could feel it watching me, measuring me, and when I tried to look away, my body froze. I realized I didn't just want to leave. I needed to survive. I kept running, twisting through endless yellow hallways, and every turn I made led me back to that same spot. The chair, the whispers, the shadow. Hours or minutes passed, I had no idea. I began to understand that this place wasn't random, it was alive, feeding on my fear, trapping me. My mind screamed for logic, for escape, but every rational thought was swallowed by the hum, the carpet, the endless yellow. I reached a junction where 3 identical hallways met, and in the center, a puddle of water reflected a face that wasn't mine. It smiled. I couldn't move. I stared, frozen in terror, and when I blinked, it was gone, replaced by my own reflection staring back. The whispers became laughter, echoing endlessly. I ran blindly, hoping to find a door that actually led out, but every door I opened led me deeper. And I realized with a cold certainty, I had entered the back rooms, and the back rooms didn't want me to leave. I ran without thinking, twisting corners, opening doors, every hallway the same, yellow walls buzzing overhead, and my shoes barely making sound. The shadow from before was gone, but I knew it was still there, waiting, observing, patient. My phone had no signal, the battery frozen at 12:03, and the air smelled worse, damp and rotten, like a sewer mixed with mold. I tried yelling, screaming, but my voice barely came out, swallowed by the endless hum. The carpet felt sticky, like it had a grip on my feet, slowing me down, and every step echoed in the hallways, though nothing else was visible. I stumbled across a room that looked like a kitchen, counters covered in grime, appliances rusted, and a single sink leaking water that ran red. I almost vomited but couldn't stop looking at it, the water pooling in patterns that seemed to spell my name. A whisper floated across the room, low and urgent, saying, don't stop, keep walking." I obeyed, though I didn't want to, though every nerve in my body screamed to collapse and cry. Hallways stretched, corners bent impossibly, and I realized my sense of direction was broken. Like the space itself warped around me. Doors opened to walls, walls opened to doors, and the shadow was there again, not moving, just waiting. Tall and pale, its featureless face slightly tilted like it was judging me. I passed a mirror and my reflection was wrong. Eyes black, a grin I hadn't made, staring back at me. I froze and blinked, and the reflection moved independently, stepping forward while I remained still. I screamed, but the sound never left my throat. I forced my legs to run, racing through hallways that now seemed endless, turning corners that looped back on themselves, and I realized I had been running in circles. The whispers became voices, multiple now, calling my name, repeating threats, laughing, and suddenly the shadow was gone, replaced by dozens of them at the edge of my vision, flickering in and out like static. I tried to hide, crouching against a wall, but the hum grew louder, vibrating through the floor, walls, and even my bones. I realized with terror that this place wasn't just a maze. It was alive, feeding, waiting for me to fail, and I was already failing. I opened a door, and it led to a room that looked like an office, desks and chairs scattered, computers on but flickering static, papers flying like caught in wind. On the floor was a note written in handwriting identical to mine. "Stop running or it will follow you home." I didn't want to read more but couldn't stop myself, flipping through pages that weren't there before. Notes of my thoughts, memories of fear I hadn't experienced yet, everything predicting what would happen next. I ran out, but the doors behind me vanished, replaced by more hallways, and I realized that the backrooms weren't just a place, they were a trap. I had walked into them by mistake, and now they would not let me go. Time lost all meaning. I ran until my lungs burned, heart hammering, but the corridors twisted endlessly. Shadows flickered at the corners of my eyes, whispers now constant, saying things I didn't understand but felt threatening. I tried to mark the walls, scratching lines with my nails, hoping to track my path, but the scratches disappeared almost immediately, leaving the walls smooth, mocking my attempt to survive. My reflection appeared again in a puddle on the floor, grinning with teeth I didn't have, and it whispered, "You belong here." I wanted to scream but couldn't, only run. Every hallway led back to the same junction with the chair, rocking slowly, dust moving like it was breathing. I reached it and the chair suddenly stopped, the silence deafening. I approached cautiously, every instinct telling me to leave, but the room had no exit, only doors that led deeper. One hallway shimmered strangely, walls bending unnaturally, and I stepped in, hoping for an escape. It was worse. The floor felt like it shifted, tiles stretching under me, and I realized that my mind was being warped, memories twisting, my own thoughts turning against me. I saw a figure far away, smaller, running too, a distorted version of me, and I understood with horror that the backrooms didn't just trap me. It created copies, feeding on fear, and each copy would suffer endlessly. I tried to confront it, but as I approached, it dissolved into shadows, leaving a note hovering in the air, glowing faintly. "You are the next copy." I panicked, running faster, the whispers now screaming, walls vibrating, ceiling dripping yellow water. I stumbled into a room filled with mirrors, hundreds of reflections, all moving differently, all staring at me with faces twisted in agony. The shadow returned behind every reflection, and I realized there was no escape, only survival. If I stopped, I would be claimed, but the running was endless, and the backrooms had no mercy. I don't know how long I ran, hours, days, or minutes. Time didn't exist here. The shadows grew bolder, whispering my thoughts, predicting my movements. I felt trapped in a loop, hallucinations blending with reality. Every door I opened led deeper, every hallway the same yellow buzzing light, the carpet sticky, whispering, alive. I reached a room with a single flickering exit sign, brighter than anything else, and my heart leapt with hope. I ran toward it, ignoring the whispers, the shadows, the reflections in puddles that mimicked my movements. The sign led to a door, and for the first time I saw sunlight. I stepped through, expecting freedom, and suddenly I was back in my apartment, morning light streaming through the window. My phone worked, battery full, notifications normal, as if the backrooms never existed. I thought I was safe until I noticed a small yellow stain on my carpet, a faint hum in the background, and a note on my desk written in handwriting I didn't recognize. "You can leave, but you can never forget." I shivered, realizing that some part of that place had followed me home, waiting, patient, knowing I would be back someday.